I'm not going to lie. I was one of those people where I'm like, okay, people keep talking about consistency. And I'm like, is it really true? Like, is that really the key to success? No, literally. It is. Because it's so easy for people to fall off, which is why the average person finds excuses, which is why the average person is not being successful. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody. And I used to be one of those people that used to believe that okay, I don't know if that's really true. Like maybe if you just have the right connections, which yes, that's true as well. But what's going to get you to those connections is consistency. Consistency. Okay. Welcome into Behind the Spotlight podcast, where your story matters. I'm Danielle J. Martin, your host, and I'm on a mission to empower and educate you towards your greatness. On this podcast, you'll learn ways to turn your thoughts into action. Plus, you'll also learn from individuals who will share personal experiences and actionable steps on how to create the life you desire. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hey, you guys, welcome back into Behind the Spotlight podcast. It's your host, Danielle J. Martin, and welcome to this week's Mindset Monday. Honey, how are you feeling today? We are fired up. We are ready to go for this new week and for this new episode. I'm super excited to talk to you guys about what we are going to be discussing today. However, I want to first put this on display. First of all, shout out to all of the people who take time to send me emails, send me text messages. I just want to thank you. Because of you guys, I have the energy and momentum to keep going. So thank you so much. I appreciate your feedback. If you find any episode very helpful, or if you have any suggestions on what I should talk about, don't hesitate. Reach out to me, okay? I will put my email, my personal email, in the show notes, in the description, wherever you're listening. It will be attached to the episode. But hey, if you just want to go to my website, daniellejmartin.com, and just hit the button at the top of the page where it says, let's connect, send me a message. I would love to hear from you, my friend, okay? It keeps me going. You guys literally give me so much energy. So I just want to say that. But if it's your first time joining Behind the Spotlight, first of all, honey, welcome, okay? You just walked into the most transparent circle you have ever walked into. I will tell you why. Because you get the raw version of Danielle J. Martin. Not only that, but you get the raw stories of behind the scenes, what goes on behind closed doors. I put it all on the table for you, my friend. Okay. So I hope that you enjoy your time here. Welcome. I always enjoy meeting new people. If it is your first time, send me a message or post this episode or any episode that you have found that has resonated with you, that's your favorite. Post it on social media, tag me. I would love to follow you back. Okay. Yes, I'm one of those people. I do follow back. Okay. I won't leave you hanging, my friend. Okay. So if you are unfamiliar of what we have been discussing, I've just really been giving you guys some how-to self-improvement tips. The last couple of weeks we've been discussing, last week, I got a lot of feedback from last week about how to release desperate energy. If you are in a space where you are finding yourself getting angry or depressed or feeling just uneased, go listen to that episode. That will definitely serve you. If you are losing your momentum, you are in the second month of the year. This is around the time, yes, we're coming up on Valentine's Day, where if you are going to the gym, this is around the time people start slowing down, stop going, stop committing, stop being consistent. So if you need some momentum, go back, listen to that episode. And then I also, one of my favorites that honestly have been many people's favorites, that was kind of surprising. It was like a accident episode that turned out to be really amazing, but people loved the episode, How to Overcome Procrastination. I guess many people are in that space. I'm glad I wasn't alone, but if you are in that space, and honestly, today's episode is going to tie into overcoming procrastination as well. So go back, pause, listen to that, and then come back and listen to this one. Okay. But I want to tell you guys, how just where I've been, how I've been. I always like to kind of give you guys an update of what's going on. So I'm always going to be transparent. I always say that. It also helps remind myself hey, don't be afraid to go all the way there. Don't be afraid to go deep, right? I think sometimes we hesitate or we kind of pull back a little bit because we're afraid. But honestly, once I get the go from God, I'm okay, right? And I feel comfortable talking about it. So we are going to be talking about how to win the consistency battle. Honey, let me tell you, okay? But I will dive into today's tips and insights and all of that, but I want to share a story because I think that is the best way I can help you understand, one, why am I talking about this? And two, hoping that it could help you and wherever you are in your journey. So I have to admit that your girl has been a little overwhelmed lately. When I first started the journey of becoming a business owner, and there have been a lot of interesting points and I would say pit stops that have happened already. And so last year I was talking about becoming a business owner. And so this year I finally made it happen. And so I've been kind of going through all of the ups and downs and the things that many people don't like to talk about. And so that's going to be a whole nother series for a whole nother day, because honestly, I want to make sure I'm clear-minded when I talk to you guys about like just how to start a business, what I wish I knew, all of these other things, like once that journey is like completed. But I give like little like nuggets here and there. And so with me starting a business, I am starting a business while also working a full-time job. Okay. Many people start there. So it's nothing new, right? Like what I'm doing is nothing new. I say to people all the time, it's nothing new, but I know it's God driven. And so I'm starting a business. I'm also volunteering in a nonprofit organization here in Topeka, Kansas called Omni Circle Group. For those who are in Topeka, they're very familiar with Omni Circle. And so if you are not, go look it up as well. And so I'm volunteering as well. And then I'm also, doing a podcast. I'm also having meetings with people. I'm trying to also get involved with this other mentorship group, because really my heart is like in mentoring young girls. Like I just really have a passion for them, because I feel like there's such a lack in mentors nowadays. So I'm doing that as well. And then I'm also trying to keep my head above water by being a really good partner to my boyfriend. And so all of these things. And so I had a really good conversation with one of my girlfriends last week. And it was interesting because I told her, I said, I'm not stressed. This is the first thing I said to her. I said, I'm not stressed. I think I'm just overwhelmed with all the things that I'm doing, but I know I could do them. And I told her, I said, I looked up, what does it mean when your eye starts twitching? Because typically when my left eye specifically starts twitching, something is wrong in my body, right? Like your body is always signaling something to you that you need to readjust. Like you need to adjust something in your system. You need to drink more water. You need to go work out. Like your body is always speaking to you. And so I told her how I said, like I just have this thing that like my eye starts twitching, and, I looked it up online and I said, you can't trust Google these days, right? Is what I told her. And she said, okay, well, what did it say? And I said, well, it said 3 things. It said, you could be stressed. I'm like, it's totally not that. You could be drinking a lot of alcohol. I'm like, not that. And you could be drinking a lot of caffeine. I'm like, it's totally none of these things. And she said, Danielle, be honest with yourself. If you had to choose one of them, right? And I said, okay, choose one of them. I said, well, I have been drinking a little bit and I have been drinking a lot of caffeine. And I'm like, it's totally none of that. And she said, I would definitely kind of exit all of that out because you've been here before. And so I laughed and I said, okay, you know what? Maybe I am a little stressed, right? And so I had to pause and take a break and actually ask myself, like, what is really going on, right? And to get to the point, I really had to admit that I am trying to commit to all the things that I said I was going to do because I am focused on being consistent. And I know it's going to work out on the other side of me, but also I don't want to lose or diminish my health along the way, right? And so I just say this disclaimer to say that you can always be consistent, but you don't want to ever put your health or your body or anything at risk to where you just lose everything and you're not mentally okay. And so by the time you listen to this episode, which by the way, I'm currently in Cabo right now, you're probably like, dang, like how did she record an episode? Because honey, I'm so committed to you. But by the time you listen to this, I will be on the beach somewhere resting. So I will be taking some time resting and trying to turn off my brain. Okay. And so I share that with you to say, as you start something, it's always going to be overwhelming. As you start something, it's always going to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing all the time. You're always going to feel that way. But I encourage you to stay consistent at the capacity, let me say that better, at the capacity that you are healthy. Okay. And so when I realized my eye was twitching more now than ever, I said, okay, I have to pull back a little bit in a certain area. I have to pause. I have to breathe because I won't be able to show up fully. And so what I am currently doing, right, and I'm going to be honest and say I haven't done it, but I'm doing it, is I am taking time for myself. My friend challenged me. She said, what is one thing that excites you every day? Like, what's that one activity or something that excites you every day that, like, no matter what you're doing, you could stop and go do it? And I said, well, I haven't gone on walks in a while. I think that would be really cool. Like, I haven't made time for that. She's like, try to make time for that once a week. Pour yourself into that once a week. And so I'm going to put that on me to say, you know what? I'm going to, if I get stressed, if I feel overwhelmed, I'm going to go take a walk, right? So when you are being consistent, what is that one thing that you can lean on in case you are feeling overwhelmed? Because I promise you, my friend, you are going to come up against battle when it comes to consistency. And so the reason why I called this episode How to Win the Consistency Battle is because I want to share with you what I'm learning. There's a difference between average people and successful people. 9 times out of 10, out of the millions of people that I've been listening to, everyone is saying, I kid you not, you have got to be consistent. It is literally like the key. It's like the access code to get into the door of success. It's like there's no other way around it. And so I already committed last year. I said, I am going to be consistent. Number 1, ask yourself, why is consistency important to you? I'll give you my answer. Because I wanted to believe in myself that I was capable. Like, I think I told you guys, like, this year is about me. And it's not a selfish act of like, oh, this year is about me. I don't got time for people, like whatever. Genuinely, this year is about me because I have stopped, I have started, I have stopped, I have started. I have done all of the things where I have literally like been just, annoyed with myself. I kind of got to a space where I was just like, I am fed up. Like, have you ever like gotten so fed up with yourself that like you just look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, okay, girl, you got no other way out. If you say this thing, you have got to commit. And if you do not commit, it's like something in you comes alive that makes you feel like you are never going to do anything else again unless you could commit to one thing. And so I felt like it was like that with me last year, like late winter, late fall. I was like, whatever you set your mind to, which I'm a queen of saying, like, you have got to do it. And so when you are thinking about consistency, what's something you're passionate about? I think you have to ask yourself that, because you can be like, I'm going to be consistent about working out. Okay, that's an easy one. No, what are you like passionate about? I understand you have to work out. It's something that's like, needed for your body, right? Like, I know it's like a requirement. But what about working out makes you excited, makes you like want to come back and be like, oh my gosh, I got to walk on the treadmill today. I got to go on a walk. Like, what about working out gets you feeling alive? The reason I want you to define what makes you passionate and excited is because when consistency is knocking at the door, guess what's around the corner? Distraction. Distraction is around the corner, honey. Let me tell you. So it's interesting. As you are coming to the table and you're laying your plans out and you're like, I got things scheduled out. It's on my calendar. Honey, distraction is knocking. Boop, boop, boop. It's at the door. So as you are committing yourself to this thing, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And so I'll go back and share another story and say, I committed to doing this podcast every week last year. I said, we're committing to it. And to be honest with you, and I'll just be so transparent and tell you why. Because it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing. Are you looking for ways to be seen, heard, and understood? Or perhaps you're eager to cultivate your own thriving community? Well, what if I told you that I have the framework that you need to achieve your goals in just 30 days? Well, inside my online business podcasting academy, you'll learn how to elevate your message and expand your influence through podcasting. After this program, you'll experience business growth, brand clarity, and master professional interviewing skills. So join today by heading to daniellejmartin.com/DJM podcast course. Again, that's daniellejmartin.com/DJM podcast course. You can also find the link in the show notes. I hope to see you there. So you guys think like the messages that you send me, like, oh my gosh, I just listened to your podcast, and the emails I get, you guys think that is like, maybe for other people, it could be like an ego filler, right? To me, it has been the confirmation. I'm going to try not to get emotional, but it has been the confirmation for me to keep going because I am passionate about you. I am passionate about you. I am passionate about showing you what happens when you show up every week, every day. I want to be an example. I can't tell you to do something and then me not do it, which is why every week I'm like, hey, I'm going to be telling you what's going on in my head. Like every week, you're going to get the raw version of everything. And I'm sorry if it feels like scattered sometimes, but it's like, you asked for this, really? No, but like truthfully and honestly, like I show up for you. And so though I knew I was going to be, going on vacation for work, which I'm super excited, right? I said, okay, well, you need to pre-record. You need to figure it out. And is it fitting in my schedule? No. But you figure it out, like you get it done. And so when your why and your passion drives you forward, it is easy to look at distraction in the face and say, you cannot knock me down. You can't even get on my level. You can't even try to distract me. You can't even try to break me down. Like you start to talk to distraction like, honey, not today. Not today. So I really was hyping myself on my way here. I was like, we're about to have the most live podcast episode of the year. Because once you believe, once you know why you're doing what you're doing, it is so easy to show up. Okay. And so as always, I'm going to always give you guys some practical steps into what I'm telling you about. But I want to give you a full picture of consistency, why consistency and having your passion is important. But I will also share this. Consistency builds trust within you. And so when I say like this year is about me, it's you versus me, you versus you or whatever. It's also, a trust builder with myself. It's to remind myself that like I can trust anytime I say something about myself to myself, I will believe it. Because the old me would say, yeah, we're going to do this thing. we're going to do this thing and, we'll do the thing once, twice, 3 times. Okay. And then the 4th time we're not showing up. And so I just felt that this time was going to be different. I did. I knew. And so remind yourself that consistency builds trust not only within you, but outside of you. It shows that the people that you are trying to connect with, whatever it is, right? Like for me, it's podcasting. But if I want to be a podcast coach, I have to be consistent, right? But if you want to be consistent in working out, people can trust you. People can call you and be like, hey, how do I lose X amount of pounds? What diet or what nutrition do I start eating? People will start recognizing you and trusting you. And so what's so interesting is I was listening to this podcast by Touted Roberts. He also talked about this as well. And what I loved is that he said, your big is in managing the little. And so when I heard that, I said, that is so good, because you managing the small things means that you are going to reap the harvest of the big thing, because you have been pouring so much into the small, tedious things that you think that don't matter, and you're being consistent over time. And the next thing you know, you look up and you're like, dang, I got a whole tree, but not just any tree. I have a tree of fruit, of like just overflowing, of abundance. And so when you think about wanting to stop, or when you feel or know that excuse is coming, I'll do it tomorrow. I got tomorrow. I got time. Honey, you don't got time. And nowadays, you do not have time. And so I think sometimes too, that's also where I felt like my anxiety and my sense of stress and overwhelm was coming, was because I felt like I don't have time. I'm like, I don't have time to waste. I really don't. And so, but again, the way that I was working and the way that I was operating was really not in a healthy space. It was like, okay, girl, like you can go to sleep. You've done enough today. You can do some tomorrow. And it's doing it in increments. And that's what I had to tell myself. It's like, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you can work on the business. Thursday, Friday, you can work on the podcast. It's just about splitting up your activities. And so now that I have a healthy way of doing things, I'm going to report back to you guys in the next couple of months and tell you where I have been, where it has led me. Okay. Because I will share towards the end, so save it, what consistency has done since I started in January. I'm going to share. Okay. I'm going to share. But yes, just remember, consistency builds trust. It builds trust outside of you. And then also, like, you are showing that, like, say, for example, want to get picked up by a company, or you want some type of investment. You are showing the investor that you are ready for the job. But if you're not being consistent, and when I mean being consistent, I will also put this disclaimer out there. You don't have to always show on social media that you're being consistent. Like, no, like that's like social media is like here today, gone tomorrow. No, I'm saying like people will know when you're being consistent. They will see it. They will believe it. They will see you, and they will know if you are being consistent or not. And they will know if it's not really you, if it's not really a part of you. So just know that, like, this thing of consistency takes time, and you learn along the way. You learn so much. I have learned so much. Honey, let me tell you, okay? It's been ugly. It's been like so uncomfortable. And it's interesting because people keep telling me, they're like, oh my God, Danielle, like I just keep seeing you on my timeline. I'm like, great, thank you. My consistency is working. I'm glad you're enjoying it, because half the time I don't feel like posting. More than half the time I don't. But the why behind it is bigger than just me being on social media. Like, it's not even about just like being on social media. It's about being consistent. It's bigger than me, and it's bigger than you. Okay, so as we come to a close though, I want you to remember that if you want to be successful, truly successful, okay? First of all, don't be afraid of success. But if you truly want to be successful, you have to be consistent. If you look at anybody, and I think I talked about this last time. I said, if you look at all of the greats, their consistency outweighs any average person. Their consistency outweighs anybody that was up against them. And your consistency may feel like you're not being seen for a while. And that's why you have to be consistent. Because when people go back and they look at your portfolio and they're like, no, this guy was consistent since 2013. You will see all of these people pop up out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, you think based on social media's records, okay, I said social media's records, you think that they just popped up. No, they've been consistent for 5 years. They've been consistent for 3 years. They've been consistent for the last year. And so when you start to compare yourself to someone, I want you to scroll back, or I want you to even ask them, hey, how long have you been doing this? That's typically the first question I ask anybody. How long have you been doing this? I would love to learn from you. How did you stay consistent throughout the path of adversity? How did you stay consistent when you didn't feel like showing up? How did you stay consistent? Consistency will take you in all of the directions that you want to go, but you first have to believe in what you're doing. No one's going to buy from you or believe what you're doing if you're just being consistent, but you're just like, I'm here. You're not believing in it. You got to show up when you don't feel like it. You have to show up when nobody is looking at you. You have to show up when it doesn't feel like it matters. You have to show up every single day. Every single day. You have just got to show up, and it sucks. And it feels like, oh my gosh, like this is annoying. This is lonely. Yes. But you know what? You are grooming, you're developing during that time, and you're becoming better. Okay. So take this with you. The way to be consistent and to literally win the battle. Remind yourself, number one, every day, why are you doing this? Why am I doing this? Why? What's the why? You can set goals all day, which I encourage. Set goals, prioritize them. But number one, the way to win the battle is remember your why. Okay? And remember your why so much to where you'll look at it sometimes to where, again, remember I was telling you guys I was hyping up on the way here? I was literally in the car like, oh my gosh, we are about to do this thing because there are people on the other side waiting for this. There's people waiting to listen. And it's not about you, Danielle. I'm sorry. And it's like I'm having a full conversation with myself. Like sometimes you have got to do that. Okay. Number two, establish the habit and routine. Make it a part of your routine, your everyday lifestyle. Recording a podcast is a part of my week schedule. It's a part of my schedule. It's like, I don't know when, but we're making it happen. I gotta go on vacation. We're making it happen. I'm going out of the country for 2 weeks. We're recording 3. Like you have to be consistent. You have to find a way. You have to find a way rather than finding excuses. Excuses will always haunt you. They will always be knocking at your door, making it seem like, oh, you got all the time in the world. Honey, you have no time at all. Okay. Number 3, track your progress. Okay. And so this brings me to a close of the consistency that I have seen within the last month. Okay. Within the last month, you guys, which your girl is just getting started, like literally. I'm like, this is nothing. So since January, I want to share with you guys that my Instagram account, this is just Instagram, but my Instagram account has reached over 10,000 accounts from me being consistent since December. Okay. 10,000 just reached, touched, whatever. Now, honestly, I really don't know what that means because I'm still getting into, all the insights and statistics of Instagram. But 10,000, my podcast downloads have doubled within the last month. Okay. My website views have tripled in the last month. just by being consistent. And to be honest with you, I really was not paying attention. I was just like, I'm just going to show up and post. Remember, I'm like, post and go. Like, I don't care. And until I got like an email and they were like, oh, hey, check out your insights and your downloads within, the last week or the last month. And I'm like, oh, wow, like this is working. Right? And so number 3 is to track your progress. Look at what's working and look at what's not working. And so I'm going to give you guys another update at the end of February, maybe March, because I feel like that completes the whole quarter. But I'm going to give you guys an update because this is so exciting. I'm like literally like, oh, wow. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was one of those people where I'm like, okay, people keep talking about consistency. And I'm like, is it really true? Like, is that really the key to success? No, literally, it is, because it's so easy for people to fall off, which is why the average person finds excuses, which is why the average person is not being successful, because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody. And I used to be one of those people that used to believe that like, okay, I don't know if that's really true. Like maybe if you just have like the right connections, which yes, that's true as well. But what's going to get you to those connections is consistency. Consistency. Okay. So I trust you. I believe in you, my friend. I know that you are called, you are loved, you are the one for the job. Okay. You are meant to be here. You are meant to do this thing. You are meant to do great things. You are meant to do great things, but you have to believe it. I can't just be the only one that believes in you. I can be the start. And if you want help, if you need assistance or an accountability partner, honey, I'm right here with you. Which is why I'm super excited and I can't share a lot of details. But if you know that my Elevation Network business is coming, you know that this accountability group is coming. So one of the things I would love to hear from you is I would love to know, what are some things you would want to see in this accountability group? Okay. I don't think it's really to ask these questions. Like, what would you like to see? If you are a part of some accountability groups and you're like, I feel like this is missing. I don't know if I have this, or maybe it's like not the right people. Tell me. I'm so curious. Okay. Because we are gearing up a really powerful group of women that you are going to love and that you are going to want to be involved with. And it's going to require you to show up. It's going to require you to be involved. It's going to require you to be inside. Okay. I'm super excited, but I want to know what is something that you want to see in this accountability group? What's something that you feel like is missing? What's something that you just maybe want to see, but maybe haven't seen? Like, let me know. Okay. So you can just email me at info at DanielleJMartin.com. Okay. Share your insights there, or you can respond to this episode. However, you can contact me. Just get me your insights. I'm so curious. What else is exciting that's coming up? You guys know that I'm having my first podcast workshop coming up in a couple of weeks. Okay. I'm super excited. If you are interested in wanting to start a podcast, if you have a business, but you are looking for ways to expand your reach, impact the entire world online, yes, you can do it through podcasting. You want to come to this workshop, okay? This workshop is for you. If you have any slight interest, you're like, I don't really know if this is for me or not, just come anyway, okay? It's free. You got nothing to do. There's 2 times you can sign up for. There's one on Saturday at 10 o'clock, and there's one on Monday at 6 p.m., okay? I want to meet the needs for those who are working, those who are not working, so definitely come check it out. All right. Anything else, you guys? I don't know. I think that's all I can think of right now, but I'm super excited to be in Cabo as we speak. And if you are watching my story, I'm going to try to really honestly like be off of social media. So I'm going to try to really like be off of social media, but we'll see, we'll see. But I'm going to try, as my friend said, try to be still, Danielle. I'm just so excited. I want to do it all. No, but seriously, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a great one.